G'day everybody and welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host Drew Agnew and the doors to episode 217 are open. This week on the show, Advance Wars Rebooted has been delayed, Reggie's stirring beef with Facebook, and your Nintendo Wii will explode. Oh, golly gosh, wouldn't that be disappointing? Bloody hell.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. Just prepare the fire marshal. Let them know you've got a Nintendo Wii, because look out, it's going bang. To talk all about that is my best mate. It's Bryce DeWitt. Bryce, how you going, my friend?
It's me. Hello.
Hello, Bryce. It's your family-friendly Bryce. Now, Bryce, you don't swear at all, do you, mate? You're a nice languaged fellow, aren't you?
Yes. So languaged.
I just had a laugh before we started the show. I've been listening to Nintendvania, which is another Australian Nintendo podcast, but Bryce just recently went on as a guest, and they beeped out him saying "fuck." And I don't, it's just it's how it is. You got to make some family-friendly content. But if I was doing that here, You'd be
stuffed, man.
I'll take a month to get an episode out.
Oh my God, yeah, you'd be stuffed. No way in hell you're winning that battle. No way.
Yeah, so I'm at the point now where I can get away with saying a few crude things in front of Lucas. You know, he's only a month old, but you are at the point now where you've got to, tie your tongue around your daughter and your son coming up now. So, yeah, just saying, just watch yourself, mate.
What do you mean, mate? Okay, so to really put this in perspective, the attitude I have towards that kind of thing is that you could if my kids start swearing around the house, it's fine.
Okay, yeah.
But if they start doing it in public, that's when it becomes a problem, right? And I make sure that they know that. So that way, at least I suppose if I swear and they start swearing because of me, at least I could sort of be like, look, it's not good to do it in public. You're gonna do it anyway, obviously, because let's be real, they're gonna do it anyway. And you're better off just being honest with yourself and just being like, this is a difference between public matters and private matters, and yeah, sort of go where you are. So I don't filter myself far too much. I hold my tongue sometimes, but if it just comes out while they're around, they know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't blame you there. Yeah, it's just something I've been thinking about. But I did laugh, especially when it's just we're pretty relaxed with how we censor ourselves on the show. We're pretty happy with F and the S word, but anything past there, we won't put out there too much. Only if we're being very emotive.
Yeah, true.
But no, we are good to listen to in the car with your family. We don't talk about too bad of things. We just talk about video games on Nintendo Switch, and unless we're playing those awful games like Grand Theft Auto or, just those games you don't want to be caught playing in front of your children, because goodness gracious, it'll make them into just psychopaths. But,
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Are you playing that Grand Theftist Auto miss on the Nintendo Switch? Those PlayStation 2 games from the early 2000s. Golly gosh. Put them in the bin.
Not Grand Theft Auto. Oh no.
Billy will get the biggest slap on the wrist if he's ever gotten.
Speaking of Billy, what about that Billy Hatcher? Oh no.
Oh, Billy Hatcher. Oh, look, it's not Billy Hatcher. He's on the path to goodness. As far that's how you cleanse a Grand Theft Auto playing kid. Yeah, you cleanse them.
You make them play Billy Hatcher.
Yeah, listen here, Jim. You've played far much of the Grand Theft Autos. It's time to play Billy Hatcher. Everyone loves Billy Hatcher.
Fucking Billy Hatcher.
Billy Hatcher. All right, so I guess for the Guru Geek Out this week, Bryce, would it be your guest appearance on another Nintendo podcast? We got something else. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but...
Say that again.
Oh, I said for your... Can you?
No, you cut out. You cut out briefly.
Okay.
Briefly.
Bloody internet, eh?
Isn't it great?
Yeah. For your for your Guru Geek Out this week, would it be your guest appearance on another Nintendo podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guest appearance on Nintendonia with Josh just yesterday, actually, at the time of this recording. We had a very good yak, fellow South Australian that really wants to get into podcasting, has been listening to us for a while, and we sort of had a talk about, what's sort of happened in the last couple of weeks in terms of gaming news when it comes to Nintendo. So, stuff like the Kirby demo, the Choco GP demo, the Pokemon Presents stuff, and you should definitely go check that out and show them some love. Had a really fun time. God, now I can't talk on my own podcast. Had a really fun time talking to Josh about the stuff that was sort of catching up for the last 2 weeks, and we had quite a lovely conversation before and after the podcast, and it was great to meet another South Australian who's really passionate and wanting to get into it in like full force. So thank you, Josh, for having me on. And I hope to talk to you again soon. And guys, go check out Nintendovania. It was an awesome time and it was a good show.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's really exciting to have another South Australian Nintendo podcast in the ranks. It's really, fun. Mm-hmm. I hope we become good friends because Eric Zutch, he fell off the internet. I don't know where he's gone. I've sent him messages. He's just not online anymore. And it makes me kind of sad. Eric, if you're still out there, this is an SOS for Eric Zutch. If you're out there, just say hello. But Eric, we still have the video of you like jumping in your backyard and in your jocks, mate. All right. Oh, we do too.
We know you're there. We do. We do. Yeah.
If we never hear from him again, that is just a memory we'll have.
We at least have that. That's right. We at least have that.
Just his bare behind.
We miss you, man.
We do. But Nintendovania, definitely go and check that show out. I'll be listening to it as well. I'm halfway through Bryce's episode. Bryce is a nice man to listen to.
Oh,
unless I'm talking to him, I just can't stand him when I'm actually having a conversation with him. Though that's the hard part.
Oh God!
Obviously joking. You know I love you, Matt. And for the Guru Geek Out for me this week, I just want to highlight again Gaming for Guru. A bit more information on it this week, but it's all the content creators, they got together and raised $3,632 for the Autism Society of America. So awesome stuff to all of those guys. They basically put out the call for content creators to do some streaming, raise some money, donate prizes, all of that. I was sort of had my head under my hands a little bit looking after Lucas, and I know my internet wouldn't have held up for the streaming because Bryce and I tried to do an episode the other week and my internet was like, absolutely not. Surprised we haven't got an episode out, to be honest. But big shout out to everybody who organised that, and Sean Capri, who came on my podcast, A Drew Story. We talked a lot about that on there as well, so bit of a shout out to my interview podcast, A Drew Story, as well. And we did our first game review discussion the other week on Encore at the House of Mario as well, which actually launched on this very feed. So go and check it out if you guys are interested in our in-depth Pokemon thoughts. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. You keen to do some more sort of episodes like that, Bryce?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. I like having that one topic discussion episodes with you, my friend. We always have I like to think pretty good breakdown for what it's worth. I think sometimes we'll probably go on a little bit longer than we ever need to, but regardless of that, I think especially when it comes to stuff like Breath of the Wild 2, I think it'd be very warranted.
Oh yeah, that'll be a bloody massive one when that game decides to show its face, which will hopefully be this year. I'm looking forward to it. Like really think about it. If brand new Pokemon games coming out, Breath of the Wild, like those two games alone, let alone everything else on top of it, it's gonna be a packed year, especially at the end when you assume Breath of the Wild would come out too, obviously. But yeah, very keen.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird because I've been listening to, I guess, what you've been playing this week on another show, so I kind of know what you've been playing. But we've both played the Kirby demo. From what I've heard already tonight, you've quite enjoyed it, and I'm quite enjoying it as well. But sort of, were you sold on it at the like initial Nintendo Direct, or is it something that the demo has sold you on? For one,
it piqued my interest, but I think this has sort of sold me on it.
Yeah. I feel like Kirby demos, they always seem to sell me. Like I remember, I was never interested in the Kirby, what's it called? Planet Robobot. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I just downloaded the demo willy-nilly because why not? This was quite a while after the game come out. And I really liked the demo. I couldn't believe how much I liked it. And when I was in Melbourne for a PAX one year, I went off to like the, what's it called? The EB Games / Nintendo store in Swanston Street in Melbourne. And I went and picked it up while everyone else was watching, what Marvel movie was it? Doctor Strange. They were watching the first Doctor Strange movie. And in Melbourne, it was like $30 for a movie ticket. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm not spending that much. So I went off and spent $50 on Kirby. But yeah, I think this game is really charming, and it's easy. It's what you expect in the Kirby game. I didn't have like any challenge of like the bosses or anything. But I think like all the tasks as you're going through each level is just really nice and satisfying, at least from the initial levels in the demo, where it's just like, look, you've got to collect was it 5 roses? That's a task. All the collectibles within the level, and you just sort of tick them off. And when you get to the end, they go tick, 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 and it's just sort of nice enough to go through. And I think it's going to be good, especially if you've been playing Elden Ring or something else. Something else was a bit more taxing. This is just going to be a really nice, relaxing, probably podcast game. Someone might be catching up on the House of Mario while playing this game, which would be great. Hello, if you're playing Kirby in the future.
Well, I mean, like that's the thing is like a lot of those sorts of games are coming out right now too. Obviously, Elden Ring, and then you've got Stranger of Paradise. Final Fantasy is also a very similar game. Wants to kick your butt, and so having something that's a little bit lighter on the accelerator is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I like how there's like 2 modes. There's I forgot what they're called, but they're essentially normal and casual mode, and like go straight for the hardcore mode. I'm a hardcore Kirby player. I get in there with the sword and the bombs. The bombs were my favorite ability. You just spam them. There's there's not much thought that goes into them. And once you actually complete the demo, you get access to play them again, but with the upgraded abilities. And when I got the bomb ability, it's actually harder to use, and I found it like less effective. Like you throw like electric bombs, you got to like sort of line them up, and it's got like electric current between them. So like it required a bit more skill. I quite like just spamming the first stage of the bombs.
Standard bomb ability.
Yeah, just like against the boss, just boom, 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 and there's like some bits of the level as well where you get into like a bit of an arena, and the enemies come from the sides, and you just got to kill them to progress. Oh, that was nothing. That was bang, 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 and let's move on. And it made me feel like a very seasoned gamer because I was playing on hard, and not everyone can play Kirby on hard. Let's just say that, Bryce.
Well, imagine if people started playing Kirby on Souls mode.
Souls mode. Go and light a campfire. So finally, I found one. I can move on.
Can you imagine? It's just like it's like Kirby the Forbidden Land is like the Dark Souls of Kirby games.
Well, it's already the Last of Us of Kirby games, so they're taking it. It's funny because Chantel, she watched me play The Last of Us Part 2, and there's a bit in that game when you get to Seattle, and it is very much just like buildings overrun with like grass and all that, and there's like a big grassland full of deer and stuff. It's like it's quite surreal. And in this game, when you get to the city, it's like, it's The Last of Us, and Chantel just laughed. Because that's not an original thought. Everybody was thinking that when it was sort of at the direct, but actually playing the game, it's like, and you're like going up towards one of the bosses, you're going up through like the buildings. You're like, this reminds me of like very much of an area I was like fighting off like bandits in The Last of Us. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But it was instead it was just like big dogs and like this like mammoth thing, which I killed with a bomb. It was a bit easier, but
wasn't like tiptoeing around clickers or some bullshit.
Yeah. I love The Last of Us Part 2. I just want to put that out there for anyone. Everyone's like Last of Us Part 1. It's way better than Part 2. Look, I quite like both of them, but just to stir the shit, Part 2 is way better. Oh, it's way better.
Yeah, you reckon?
I'm just stirring the shit. I'll leave it at that though. But yeah.
All right, I'll let you stir the shit then, huh?
Yep. There we go. Stirred. It's a stew. So yeah, anything else you'd like to say about Kirby before we move on? We're going to be playing the full game soon enough, so.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's got a lot of potential, and just like even in that like shot by shot thing that sort of comes at the end of most demos these days, it looks like it's going to be pretty good. I think this is definitely probably going to change my opinion on a Kirby game for once. Usually demos sort of sit in the realm of like, yeah, that's a Kirby game, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I said this on Nintendovania as well, but to me, this is more like this is a 3D world, except it's Kirby. And that's kind of what it is, right? So I'm kind of interested. So we'll see where it heads.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, we were talking about a brand new game. We've been playing the light version because we're tired asses. We play demo and light versions around here. You know, look, we got to stretch our money, but playing a Chocobo GP, which is a nice little Mario Kart clone. And you dived into this quite a bit, and it seems like you're enjoying it. But obviously, there's a couple of nitpicks. But what are your overall impressions of the game?
I think it's a decent Mario Kart clone. I think it's all right. It does have very clear issues, and I think like now that I've had more time to think about it, there are definitely problems that need to be addressed with the game. And to be honest, I think it probably would have almost just been better if it was a free-to-play game out the gate with the microtransactions in it to give people an alternative to Mario Kart that's free out the gate. And I think that's where like it would succeed the most. Like they don't want to. My dog's banging the door.
I was about to say, is that the dog?
Yeah, it's the dog. It's the dog being sick. I told him, I'm like, in or out. Anyway, he voted in. And I think it sort of sits on the realm of if it was free, then it would survive probably a hell of a lot longer. But now that we've got more Mario Kart courses coming out, I'm not really seeing a future for the game at the moment. I think what it does is very smart, and I think having a free-to-play version so that there's always players is a fantastic thing, but I just don't see why they don't have it as a free-to-play game, because it would just gauge more interest in general to begin with.
It sort of seems like something they come up with after developing the game, because correct me if I'm wrong, anyone out there, but at the Direct, so they never announced it as like with a light version. It seems like something they're like, hey, look, we're going to potentially struggle without getting this into people's hands, so then they created a light version, but that doesn't really account for some of the microtransactions and battle pass sort of implementation into it either, so I'm not quite sure. But jumping into the light version, it is funny because I go straight to the story mode because that was the mode where I'm like, hey, I just want to check out the mechanics before I actually want to do some online competition or whatever. So I go to the story mode and it's like blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, this is really not interesting me. So I skipped the cutscene. I didn't really care about it too much. And the first mission in the story is basically do 2 laps, beat this character. And then it's like, thanks for playing the story. Buy the full game. I'm like, holy crap, they did not give you much story to play. I thought they might have given you like 3 races or something to really like hook you in. But they give you so little that the amount of story just made me go, well, that's not going to interest me. But then going to basically the online tournament, which is in the light version, I think that was really good, being able to just go through like a tournament type setting. And that is something that Mario Kart does lack. There isn't really much variety in what you can do in that. And that's potentially what this game might have over Mario Kart 8. There's stuff to do, whether it's stuff to unlock and battle passes and that. Say whatever you want about microtransactions and all that, but it does sort of encourage Square Enix and the developer to actually keep things going and keep things coming into it. Unlike like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they say, here's the game, which is great, by the way, but it's like there isn't too much to do after that. It's like play with your friends, but apart from that, there's not too much else to sort of keep you coming back, which we might expect in an online game these days with new content coming and revolving in and out. That was kind of established by Fortnite, just giving you something to do all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you think about the actual like tournament mode?
I think it's good. Like, I actually think it's a very effective way to do a kart racer that doesn't sort of... I mean, it gives you a reason to sort of keep going, right? With a Mario Kart race, it's like it's race by race, and you sort of just move on to the next part. You know, you can drop out between courses and stuff like that, which you can technically do with this as well. But I feel like with this, it's it feels like more of a I guess like it's as if Mario Kart single player sort of got integrated into like a multiplayer mode with stakes. I think it's really neat, and I think it's done extremely well. So I don't really have any gripes with the actual mode itself. I think you're right about the single player and it having way too little content to sort of surf off of in the demo. However, I think like the multiplayer that it does for the demo is very good. I think it's a lot of fun and definitely a good Mario Kart alternative. But yeah, again, it comes back to the faults it has, being probably far too heavy to recover from. I think is definitely the thing there. Yeah.
But like what I actually don't know is if you buy the full game, if you invest your $80, does that sort of negate a lot of these problems or not really? I'm not sure. I actually don't know.
Oh my God. You can hear that, can't you?
Yeah, that's all right, mate. If Dutch wants to join in, that's fine. Just it needs some good input though. He can't just talk about whatever. It needs to actually talk about Chocobo GP.
Oh my God. I think now I've forgotten because of the dog.
The dog has erased your mind.
He has.
I just asked the question basically, if you buy the full game, does it negate like some of the issues to do with like microtransactions?
No.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Yeah.
No. So yeah, I mean, before these two keep distracting me, I'm going to sort them out in a second. Basically, buying the full game doesn't really do anything. It just gives you your story mode and it gives you access to the characters that are unlockable in the game. Anything additional past that is microtransaction or battle pass exclusive. So there is a lot of FOMO, and this has become like a huge problem in gaming lately. But there's like a huge FOMO problem. A lot of games want to exploit fear of missing out, which is the acronym, by the way, FOMO. They want to exploit that as much as possible to get it out of people, and like Fortnite does it excruciatingly well.
Yeah,
it does it. That's how it's like stayed so popular, is that it exploits FOMO so hard.
Yeah, well, I don't even play Fortnite, but when they're like, "Hey, look, there's a Batman costume and it's available for the month," I'm like, "Oh, should I get this?"
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck would I want it?
Yeah, that's right. You don't even fucking play Fortnite that often.
Yeah, exactly.
If at all.
That's how good they are. So if I actually played it, I'll be buggered.
And like, I mean, that FOMO gets me sometimes. I'm just like, look, I really want that, so I'll like go out and hunt for it or whatever. But in a property like this, like it's really niche. It's like, what's your fear of missing out? It's like you're going to miss out on getting Cloud in your battle pass, or you're going to miss out getting Squall with Gil. It's like, yeah, that's really shit. But you know, how many people actually give a fuck? In a kart, one, in a kart racer, and two, like, who's going to be playing it long enough for them to be like, I've grinded my 60 levels for Cloud. It's like I've been burnt myself out on this game. There's a bunch of new tracks coming to Mario Kart. Seems a bit silly. Seems a bit silly to continue.
Yeah, they're in a rock and a hard place. Like, like the mechanics of this game, they're fine. They're fun. Like, it's a kart racer. It's good. But when it actually comes down to it, how can you recommend this game over Mario Kart just for money and time? Even if you are just sitting there being like, hey, look, let's play a game. Are you going to pick Chocobo GP over Mario Kart? And I guess this like sort of light version does help that. You can just say, hey, go and download it and you can join in with me. Kind of works like DS download play like you mentioned the other day, which I think is a great idea, just to make sure the player base is as big as possible so people actually play this game. But it's just hard when you're on a Nintendo platform and you're going up against the most popular game on that platform. It's just, I don't know, especially when we've got brand new content coming out within like next week as well. Like, it's just, it's hard. It's hard for them.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially,
and like, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, especially because this game is exclusive. Like, there's a Disney racer coming out. That's on all platforms, and I think it's probably cross-play. So that makes a lot more sense as far as them breaking into the market. But as far as an exclusive Switch racer goes, yeah, I'm not quite sure.
The thing is like, the time I've had with it's not bad. I think it's a very good racer, right? I just think when you have that dominating property over you, that gets bundled in most console bundles, being right there in your face, you have to make a choice. You have to be like, well, is this a $60 full-fledged game that's going to try and like match the content density Mario Kart has, or is it going to be a free-to-play game that we can sell microtransactions in, ultimately, slowly but more surely make a profit, probably more of a profit out of, and it's the premier one of the premier free games on Switch that fits the bill. Now, unfortunately, they tried to get a piece of both pies and just be like, we'll sell it for $60 and we'll put this shit in there. And they're trying to exploit nostalgia to a degree to get that to work, but nobody's really falling for it because they're kind of like, this game is fun, but it's not that fun. It's not that fun that like I want to purchase a $70 title, then spend, well, you get the first battle pass for free anyway. But like, and then sort of like pushing on forward, it's just like, what's the value? There is no value in this at all. It's like any company exploiting FOMO is really bad, but like in the terms of Final Fantasy situation, there's a lot of memorable characters and stuff like that, but a lot of them are also in the base game. And it's just like, are you really going to miss it if it's just like, oh shit, Tifa, like Tifa or I don't know, like Lulu is in the next battle pass, and you're like, cool. And it's just like, do I want to spend my money or do I want to keep playing like Terra, who is in the game? And then you're like, maybe I'll just keep playing Terra.
Yeah,
like I'm used to the special move. I'm used to the way they play. Might as well just keep playing Terra.
Yeah, it seems like they sort of just picked the side, decided what they wanted to go with. If they want to make money through microtransactions, that's fine, but it's not a full price game. You can't charge the same as Mario Kart and put that stuff in there. That's a bit egregious. Yeah, but it's definitely worth checking out the light version if you're interested. It's free. There's nothing to lose. Just
yeah, that's right.
If you're a big Final Fantasy fan, just make sure you don't get sucked into spending all your money on the battle pass and stuff like that. But yeah,
it's fun. It's a good game. It's just full of flaws in the monetary sense, and it's a shame because I feel like it'll have potential if it has more support. But they're already shooting themselves in the foot too early.
Yeah. Oh well. It's something to potentially play if you're like, I don't feel like playing like Mario Kart or playing Mario Kart.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Also today, like I guess last week, it was Mario Day, March 10th. So I said to Chantel, like, hey, it's Mario Day. We should play a Mario game. And I was just joking, but she said, yeah, okay, let's play a Mario game. I'm like, oh, all right. So then I'm like, all right, let's play 3D World. And she was playing it. She didn't really jive with it that much. I'm like, oh, look, I've been trying to get her into like finding a game that she enjoys for years, like since we got together. And then we got to the Captain Toad level, and she's like, oh, this is awesome. Like, this is fun. Because there's no jumping, it's just moving around, working out the timing of walking onto a platform and getting all the green stars. I'm like, then a light bulb went off. I'm like, oh, there's a game called Captain Toad, which is this. Just
there's a whole game for that.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to that. So we haven't played it yet, but I'm gonna report back, see if Captain Toad is the one game I've been looking for years now, because. Look, this question comes up all the time. There's some man who's like, oh, look, my woman doesn't like to play video games with me. What would you recommend? And for years, everyone's like, oh, look, Telltale games, they're real simple. You sit back and you press the buttons and you make choices. When a choice comes up in one of those games, she gets a bit like nervous and stuff. She's like, oh, what button do I press? Like, there's a time limit going on. I'm like, oh, well, even if that's not doing it, then like a game like Mario doesn't do it, what's going to do it? But Captain Toad might be the one. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I hope it is, because I love Captain Toad. Captain Toad really sort of blew me away because I never played it on Wii U. There's a few games on Wii U where I'm like, I don't know if I am too like impressed with this system. I don't know if I have to like play every single thing on it. But definitely Captain Toad was one that I really enjoyed on Switch, with especially the new features and all the new content that they added with like New Donk City and that towards the end. Really fantastic game. So I got an excuse to go back and do some 2-player with Chantel, hopefully. Or we might play one level and she's like, this sucks, and snap my Switch in half.
You'll see.
I will see.
Next up, she'll be playing Dark Souls.
Oh. Look, I've been so tempted to try Elden Ring, but look, I don't mind the hardness. I just want a game. The exploration sounds really exciting to me. I don't mind it kicking my ass either. What does sort of worry me though is just like if Lucas starts crying and then I've got to go and put the controller down. There's like no save in the game apparently, so I'm like,
there's no pausing.
Yeah, well that's what I meant. No pausing. I'm like, well. Look, I'm not about like accessibility, but I need to pause the game. The game can't take precedent over everything else going on in my house.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that sort of puts me off a little bit, but I just don't have the time. I don't have the time for Elden Ring. So I did try to buy it. I went to Big W. I'm like, do you have any Elden Ring? And they like, oh, we sold the last one 10 minutes ago. And deep down inside, I'm like, oh, thank fuck.
Don't. Oh, here's the thing: is like you have 1,000,001 things you could play that you still haven't played.
Yeah, I know that, Bryce. I like buying video games.
And you're about to start a big open world RPG that is designed to kick your ass on one boss for several hours. Yeah,
no, awful idea. Awful idea.
Fucking terrible idea. You won't even play Persona 5, and that's more on your realm. That's more in your realm of video games.
Look, Bryce, don't question the hype, my friend. Don't question the hype. Or the hype. Or the irresponsible use of the wallet. But
yeah, well,
the lack of stock did save me. So
good. Let it keep saving you.
I'll go in there again. I was like, "Do you have it?" And it's like, so yes, we do. I'm like, oh no, getting out the credit card, just shaking. I'm like, no, what am I doing to myself?
It's like all those memes on TikTok where like, it's like, accidentally like skipping my diet to buy a Macca's burger or something. And it'd be like somebody's like about to eat a salad. And there's like a piece of lettuce on the floor. They'll like slip up on it. And they're like tumbling, like they're like, oh no, they like put the salad back in the fridge, they pick up the keys, they tumble into their car, they drive all the way to Macca's, tumble out of their car and into Macca's, pick up a bag of food and then tumble into a seat, and then the burger just tumbles into their mouth, and it's so tragic, right? Yeah, it's like the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Just with video games.
I think that has actually happened to me once or twice before too, Bryce. So, it might not be as silly as you think. All right. So, been playing anything else before we move into the news, or is that pretty much covered?
No, that's pretty much covered it, I think. Yeah, that's been like pretty much everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I played like an hour of Triangle Strategy, but not enough to comment on it. Apart from it looks very nice. as we already know.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's move into the news.
Newsy.
Is that all?
I fight for my friends.
My body is still
All right, Bryce, he can't actually hear that, so I have to put it in there myself. So there we go. I fight for my friends. Bryce likes fighting for lots of his friends.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, the roadcaster just like kicks out of it, and like you can't do anything about it. You just can't hear it. It's sad.
There's too much audio juice going through Discord. I think that's what's going on, Bryce. Too much delicious juice flowing through those headphones in your ears.
Discord juice. No God.
Some Drew juice coming your way, mate. All right. So the first couple of stories are very Australian-centric. So the first one is PAX Australia is returning. Woohoo. PAX Australia posts on Twitter, welcome home. It's been 84 years. Well, maybe not that many. We're extremely excited to announce that PAX Australia will be back in 2022 as a live event, just as you remember it, from the 7th to the 9th October 2022 at the Melbourne Convention Expedition Centre. So PAX is back, allegedly. I think this year it will be, just with the way things are going in Australia. It's loosening up a lot more. I think the community, as far as COVID goes, is just, make your own decision as far as staying home, vaccinating, going to work, all of that goes, depending on your own unique situation. But PAX will be returning. Hopefully it comes back in full force like it has been in years previous to 2019. So yeah, I'm hoping that that all goes well. I would like to go. I don't know exactly what my sort of position will be, regardless of COVID, just with, having a baby. He'll be a few months older by the time this comes around, but I don't know. I haven't talked about it with my wife yet. So if I get permission and that's all good, I might go. I'm not too sure yet. I'd like to go though. There's lots of people I'd like to catch up with again, but what's your sort of situation as far as PAX go? We haven't talked about it yet.
Look, man, I miss people, and I'm totally down for private gatherings and stuff like that. But first year of PAX, I think, is like publicly, it's going to be a mess. There's going to be so many issues going on with PAX, whether it be like double vaccination restrictions or not that I'm not vaccinated, but yeah. And then, we'll probably have capacity restrictions. There's going to be so many people there. It's going to be a ridiculous year for PAX because it'll be the first one back in like a few years. I think it's probably going to be a bit of a risk. I'm very I'm sort of sad to say it in my own head, but I'm just kind of like, it's not going to be the same PAX we're used to. Just out of necessity of trying to be safe and still sort of, working that sort of level in of keeping each other at an arm's length and stuff like that. I definitely want to go back to PAX, and I would have loved to have done it this year, but I think the first year back for this is just going to be too mental. I think it's going to be a bit too much. So, yeah. I'll personally probably give it a miss this year and then let it calm down leading into the next year. Next year would be a better time. Obviously, there's a lot of hopefully, and there's a lot of important things going on in the world right now, man. That sort of make me question whether even it is the right time to sort of push forward and do something like PAX, whether it be for monetary reasons or what have you. Yeah, I think just personally, it's probably best to just miss the first year back.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I 100% agree with you. I think it's just like the optimistic side, which is like, oh, I might go. I honestly don't know, but I know how cramped that convention center gets, and regardless of anything, just the anxiety just being around that many people would be scary enough. We're country bumpkins. We a lot of people would be used to going back to work, and they might have caught COVID and they're not as worried about it now, and they go on the subway to work and whatever your situation is. But for the most part, Bryce and I in a small town, we can avoid people. So the idea of going into a big enclosed area, it's scary, to be honest. And it's not even for me. Like, if I was a 22 single man, like whatever type of thing, but I've got a wife and kids to think about, and obviously Bryce has 2 kids and his partner as well. So it's not even just for us. Like, if it was just us being in our 20s, we'll probably go. So I encourage everyone just to look at their own situation and hopefully get the packs if you want to. And check out some awesome games and meet up with awesome people and just enjoy the event we haven't been able to go to for the last couple of years.
By all means, like that's not to say that I don't want to go or that I'm telling other people that they shouldn't. It's just definitely on the error side of caution for me, 100%. I think keeping those things in mind, I've weighed it up in my head, and I'm kind of just like, what's probably not going to be a great year to just go back and just expect everything to be okay. It's kind of like here, a co-worker of mine, he's a drummer, and he does a lot of death metal stuff, and he's had like a music event cancelled, restrictions are coming in, like all that stuff. And then like when it does return and then he does go to an event, like it's going to be so packed because the music community, they've been waiting for shit like that to sort of return to a level that's acceptable for them for a long time. And like, I can't imagine being in a room with that many people like moshing around, stuff like that. Like it's just, it's destined to end up in disaster in some way. So I think just, I know that you can't keep burying your hand in the sand, burying your head in the sand. Burying your head in the sand, like this is COVID and we're going to have to live with it. But I think like reducing risk as much as possible is still important regardless. Yeah.
And in our position, we're able to, I guess, just not living in a major city.
Yeah.
So we're in
absolutely
that privileged position, I guess, just, living in the middle of nowhere with no resources or people.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you want to call that an advantage. But moving on, this is from Vooks.net. So small Aussie game developers get a boost with new Screen Australia grant program. And so this is pretty cool. So I just read it from Vooks to get the information. A new initiative from Screen Australia has been announced, and it's planned to help small local game developers fund their new games. The new grant, called Games Expansion Pack, will let developers with a game budget under $500,000 claim up to $150,000 in funding. It'll work across the current financial year and the next. The game you're making doesn't have to be an original IP, but it's encouraged to be. There's a whole list of requirements to follow. Make your pitch with the whole whack of documentation. That's on the official website if you want to go and check that out. Ron Curry, CEO of Interactive Games and Entertainment Association, is pretty chuffed with the announcement, saying in a statement that Screen Australia's Games Expansion Pack is a very welcome addition to the suite of already announced government funding for Australian game developers. It signals that games are an integral part of the screen industry. So this is sort of a great sort of story. I love hearing just the government actually supporting the games industry in Australia. We saw lots of big hits from Australia in the indie scene, whether it was Goose Game or a bunch of other stuff, especially like Team Cherry with Hollow Knight in Australia. That's one we always point to as far as the indie initiative goes. A big game on Switch, which actually got like Nintendo spotlight during E3, so that was just insane for those guys. But yeah, just hopefully we continue to see more, I guess, Australian games and continue having a good export of video games from Australia, because we see like heaps of even in Europe, game development is just becoming bigger and bigger, and we're just seeing awesome games from all over the world, not just the States and Japan, but just all over the place. So this is awesome. What do you reckon?
Yeah. I think it's a huge positive step. I think just even looking at like the experience that we've seen in Adelaide with the growth from, again, Hollow Knight with Team Cherry, I think there's a lot of potential, and that funding is always needed, right? These projects are huge, and they could always do with a little bit more a little bit more oomph in their step. So I'm glad to see that it's sort of getting the recognition it deserves.
And like even like in South Australia, there's that massive sort of game hub area for developers to come in and use an area to develop games, and it's just it's awesome. I'd love to like be up there and be able to be like, I guess, more involved in that sort of that scene, whether it's just even if it's just talking to people. And we only get that opportunity once a year when we go to AVCon. They have like a small area called the Indie Games Room where we get to go around and talk to developers, even making like tiny little games like our friend Riley was for like a bit of a initiative with his like university with a couple of mates, or just like people actually like making a living, like really pushing for it. Like with Brief Battles, that wasn't a Adelaide based game, but I remember seeing that like at PAX and all that for years, and it's sort of like a party game akin to maybe Super Smash Brothers, where you're just trying to like, you know, knock each other off, and there's a bunch of different modes and stuff, and it's just like lots of interesting opportunities as far as the indie game scene goes. So yeah, give them all the money instead of giving just like mining companies money and stuff like that, you know. Put some money into the arts in Australia. Come on.
They don't want to. They want to give it to the miners. I want to give it to Clivey.
Give it to Clive. Yeah, he needs it.
Guys, I need more money for my mining operation.
Clive Palmer, you bloody fatty, eh? Moving on, Advance Wars 1-2 Reboot Camp has been delayed. And it's just a simple post by Nintendo of America on Twitter. In the light of recent world events, we have made the decision to delay Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, which was originally scheduled to release on Nintendo Switch on April 8th. Please stay tuned for updates on a new release date. And the delay of this game was because of world events, the war with Russia invading Ukraine. And there's basically story events that very much tie this game to potentially what's happening in real life. So it's a good decision. It's a good decision. I think a lot of us can wait, and I don't know what the situation as far as development goes. I don't know if WayForward are able to utilize this to further polish the game, or if it's just going to sit there in Nintendo's server ready to be clicked on and go up to the eShop. But regardless, it's a good decision. I think there would have been a lot of sort of talk maybe from the more easily offended on Twitter. Felt like, oh God, how dare Nintendo do this? And look, I think it's a good decision.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's one of those things where, you know, appropriate timing is probably a better use of company promotion methods than just pushing it out as soon as it comes out. I think it was a very smart move. Obviously, once it gets here, you know, people will be keen to get into it, and it'll be great and fun and all that. But just right now, it's one of those things in the world that we're not pining for, and we see a lot of problems in our Twitter feed, let alone, you know, having mimics to real world events in a video game. So yeah, definitely good.
Yeah, we need to play Kirby, not a Advanced War where it was simulating war.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But so I guess just going off this topic, Bryce, what do you think about Nintendo sort of halting their selling of games on the eShop in Russia? Because like a lot of companies are banding together to, you know, basically support Ukraine and not basically pass the message that this isn't acceptable to the Russian public. That will hopefully, potentially, maybe think about it a bit more. I don't know. I'm not on the ground in Russia, so I don't know what the public necessarily think or their sort of thoughts on Putin and what he's doing. I know there's a lot of sort of rioting going on as far as those actions. But what do you think about, I guess, the video game industry as a whole sort of banding together to cease the selling of products in Russia?
Well, see, the biggest issue at the moment is not so much that. The biggest issue is that now that so many companies are doing it, Russia is literally trying to instead just legalize piracy, right? So they're kind of just like, well, if you guys are going to keep pulling out, we're just going to pirate your shit. Don't give a fuck. Now, obviously, there's going to be countermeasures to that eventually as well. But in the meantime, it's going to be a bit hard to stop them from pirating games and stuff like that while they sort of don't really give a shit. Now, I think it's a kind of an awkward situation. We haven't really talked about the Ukraine situation on the podcast now that I think about it.
No, we haven't. No.
Before I go on, if there's anybody who listens to the show in either Russia or Ukraine, I hope that no matter who you are, you're safe. I'm fair certain that most people don't want this war. This is just something that nobody really wants. Nobody wants to fight. And I like to think that people who listen to the show probably feel the same way. So if anybody from either of those two places listens to the show, make sure you stay safe. Obviously, there's definitely bad things going on in both Russia and Ukraine right now. Probably more so Ukraine, yeah, but there's also a lot of silencing happening in Russia, which is awful shit, very awful shit.
Definitely.
And yeah, be safe. But now that being said, I think like this is more or less trying to send a message, and that message can only sort of go one or two ways, right? This goes for Nintendo and all companies that pull out of Russia, is that it can either send the message of Putin was right and NATO are trying to punish us for like, and this is depending on where people sit in media mostly. Most people that don't use the internet are going to see it this way. They're going to be like, NATO's firing back at us, and just removing anything that's like America related or West related out. But then, you know, the people that are probably a bit more tech savvy and more in tune with the internet and like free speech and stuff like that are probably seeing it, and they're struggling right now because obviously there's a lot of shit just disappearing. Malls are being emptied because a lot of companies are just backing out, and just quitting all ties with Russia until this thing is resolved. And like, is it the right thing for Nintendo to do? Well, it's difficult to say because like every company's doing it, right? I think video games are a fantastic distraction from real world events that people really, really don't want to deal with. And this is like one of those things. Nobody wants a war, right? So, you know, I kind of wish they didn't, but at the same time, if they don't, then it sends the message that what's going on with these, I guess, government heads like Putin or the oligarchs that are invested in it and have their money placed in it like it's some sort of fucking game of Risk, right? I think it sends the message that what they're doing is just going to happen with no consequences, and that shouldn't be the case. There should be consequences. Now, in saying that, these consequences affect the Russian people more than they do these bigwigs, and that's sad.
Yeah.
That's extremely sad, and I don't see why the common folk should have to suffer just because this selfish man and the selfish people around him are doing what they are doing. But I do hope that anybody who is currently in Russia and is suffering all these things has something to sort of keep them going for some time, and hopefully we can get they can get this thing resolved soon, and we can sort of try to rebuild back to somewhat of a normality. And we won't have to see companies like Nintendo veto out just to send a message, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely agree with all that. And I like the other side of things as well, like apart from video games, like stuff like YouTube and other sort of platforms online that people can use to get their message out. I think that's worrying when those companies are sort of restricting of like what content can be put out to Russia, because that is the way we can get our sort of point of view to the Russian people, being like, hey, look, this isn't something Ukraine wanted or something they sort of brought on like upon themselves. This was very much your leader like wanting to invade and take their country. Like, to put it just bluntly. So that's what worries me. I think like video games, someone who just like, oh look, this sucks, I just want to play some Nintendo games, like, oh, I can't do that. Then that's when they start sort of maybe looking towards how they can sort of make it better so they can return to normality within their own lives. But when it comes to like communication sort of vessels, that's when I get a little bit worried when I'm hearing about sort of these big American companies, shutting down in Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it sucks, doesn't it? At least in Australia right now, it's just like fuel prices. God, fuel prices are high, aren't they?
Just seeing what like the adverse effects. God, like there's part of me that really didn't want to speak about this originally, it's because like I've got like a lot of like depressing opinions about it, I guess. But just the way it's going to affect the world is huge. And it's sad because it doesn't matter. Like even video games or something like that, something that can offer like a casual distraction. And like, you might have friends in Russia, for example, and you want to play video games with your friends in Russia. Well, suddenly you can't because all of a sudden we're disconnected from each other and we're all fighting a fucking war. And, it's sad, man, and seeing the adverse effects that it has on everywhere else in the world and the people that sort of have to eat shit for it. It's just not fun. Now, obviously, we're not like talking about like the petrol prices and stuff like that with us, where it's gone up like 60 cents in our town in like 2 months. Like that's shit and everything, yeah. But like, then think about the people who have also like lost their homes and stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
like, fuck.
Yeah, and just like just even like the floods up like higher in Australia. It's just it's heavy times. But I think that's why we try and rally around our passions. Yeah,
I have a co-worker that has that was born in Lisbon, it's her hometown, and there's like a lot of people she loves back there, and it's all underwater at the moment, and it's like really problematic. And she's managed to get in touch with everybody that she needed to, which is great. But second time in a few years, man, like it's terrible. There's so much bad going on right now. It's shocking.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Especially when, like, I guess from here we can make donations and stuff, but really there isn't like a whole heap we can do. But just to talk about it, I guess, even if there's one person who potentially listens to this and goes, oh, well, yeah, that is unfortunate. I guess that's what we can do. But definitely, our hearts are with everyone involved over in Europe and up in Australia as well. Just watching all these stories is heartbreaking, but we just need to just rally around each other, and whether that's our passions with video games or just supporting each other when we need it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So moving on to this next story is going to be a little bit hard after that, but let's go for it anyway. So there's a brand new Lego Super Mario set out.
Whoa.
Lego Adventures with Peach starter course revealed, along with a new characters such as Toad and I can't even say. Yeah, so there's a brand new Lego set after talking about that. Awesome stuff. So this actually includes Peach's Castle, and I really wanted Peach's Castle in Lego. That would have been the one I would have dived into. This is just a very sort of basic Peach's Castle. I want like a big elaborate one, kind of similar to like the NES and the question mark block with like the Super Mario 64 levels that pop out of it. I want like a really elaborate castle to build. This is not it, so I'm still not getting into it. Maybe when my son gets older and this is still around, then I'll have an excuse to buy this this useless beatbop Lego. But until then, no. So yeah, nothing to say on the Lego.
Nah, not really. Oh, like I see these sets pop up all the time. I have a look at them at Big W or something. I'm like, that's cool. And then I sort of walk away and just be like, I'm glad I never got too invested. Those Lego sets, man, it doesn't matter what set they're from. Like, if you look at the Lord of the Rings ones and stuff like that, Jesus Christ, they get a bit expensive.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Like, it's not really just like, oh yeah, I feel like building Lego. Actually, Stewie from the pub, he's building F1 cars in Lego. I don't know if he told you that. I went and had lunch there the other day. He's like, yeah, I'm building all this Lego. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. I'm waiting for my son to get older. He's like, oh, it's for adults too, Drew. You don't have to be so rude about it.
Yeah, that sounds like a Stewie thing to say. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to some news about some big wigs at Nintendo, which we quite like. One of them's not there anymore, but we'll get to him. So this is from Go Nintendo, and Go Nintendo's back. This was a Nintendo news website that went away for inconspicuous reasons. They just said, hey, look, I've got to go. Like, it sounded a bit eerie, but they're back. Congratulations. I'm glad that they're back. And so we pulled a couple of articles from them this week. And the article, the title is, Sakurai says he's already hard at work on his next project. Might not be game related. And the article reads, Masaru Sakurai has been working tirelessly on Super Smash Bros. Series, and it seems his efforts with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate kept him more busy than ever. Many fans wanted to see Sakurai take a nice long break after wrapping up Ultimate, but it seems Sakurai is already working on something. Sakurai shared the following comments with Famitsu. Quote, I've been away for a while now, but I've been working on something. My eyes may be a little tired. You may see me in the near future in a place that has nothing to do with game production. You may or may not be able to see me. I hope to see you again in the future. Thank you very much for your time. End quote. So this is interesting. I don't know what he's referring to here. Obviously, he's not...
Uprising 2, obviously. Jesus Christ, get with the program.
An Uprising 2 movie.
No, I said Uprising 2, Jesus Christ, get with the program. I said nothing about a movie. I don't know where you got that from.
No, but it's not game related. He says it's not game related.
Yeah, he's lying, Drew.
He's
obviously.
Lying. You reckon he's lying?
He's lying. Oh. This is Sakurai we're talking about. He's lying. He's a liar.
Okay. Well, it's interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know if Sakurai is much of a liar. Has he lied to us in the past? Is he? Look, we respect.
He's half truthed because of Xenoblade 2. He's half truthed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Bryce. We got a lot of respect for Sakurai here, and you're just coming in with the disrespect.
It could be
calling him a liar.
It could be a cinematic game. It could just be like, I'm making a new Telltale title.
Could be a new Telltale. What? He's joined Telltale Games, and he's made. Look, I reckon a Telltale like Nintendo game would be really cool. Like, just go full on story. Like they did it with Minecraft. They can do it with any game. They can do it with Mario. Like seriously. Yeah, I'm intrigued.
I just love the video. I can't remember who it was, but there's like a YouTuber or something that's like playing story mode. Yeah. And like there's like supposed to be this moment like where the character like loses his pet pig or whatever, and he's just like supposed to be sad because he's dying, but then he just like despawns into a pork chop, and the dude just pisses himself laughing.
So that's well done. It's true to the source material. So it's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what happens. But at the same time, it's just like, oh god damn it, like, yeah, it's just like Mario. It's like he's having like a very dramatic death. It's like Bowser's like right up next to his face. He's about to like breathe fire at him, and he's like burn him to a crisp. But no, it just goes.
Yeah, just with like Sakurai. He says it has nothing to do with game production. Bryce said he could be lying, and he could be. I don't know. I don't know how faithful Sakurai is in his Famitsu articles. He could be just a filthy liar, but...
He could be lying.
It could be something like a documentary based on Sakurai's life or something like that. Like, he could be like sort of saying he's been working on something, but it's been like in partnership with someone, whether it is like some type of film series. I don't know, but... I
am the soccer guy.
I am the soccer guy. Could be. All right, moving on. So another article from Go Nintendo. Reggie Fils-Aimé says Facebook as a company lacks innovation. And the article reads, Reggie recently sat down with a chat with SXSW, where he addressed a number of topics. During the discussion about Facebook, Reggie wasn't afraid to share his full thoughts on the company's direction. Quote, Facebook itself is not an innovative company. They have either acquired interesting things like Oculus and Instagram, or they have been fast followers of people's ideas. I don't think their current definition will be successful, end quote. And that's sort of related to like the whole meta sort of, VR sort of thing they're trying to set up with NFTs and all this fun stuff, which just sounds like a scary, scary future for all of us. But I don't know. I kind of agree with Reggie here. Like, Facebook obviously at the very start, if you've watched the social network movie, Mark Zuckerberg didn't really come up with the idea himself. He was smart enough to, get it off the ground and everything. And he's a very rich man now. But as far as like stuff after that, there's not really much innovation apart from how to monetize a social media platform, which just kind of ruined the platform for like a lot of people I know. Because I know like back in high school, it was fun. I don't know if that was just because it was when we were kids or the actual platform itself. I think it was a bit of both, to be honest. I think the platform was a lot more sort of fun to share stuff and all that. Now it is very much just like, all right, I get advertised to a lot and I might see a picture of my friend's baby if I scroll far enough.
Yeah,
but
well,
I think Reggie has a point here, and don't know. What do you reckon?
Well, look, here's the thing: is like as time is going on, relevancy to like all this talk about NFTs and the metaverse and stuff like that is plummeting, right? And like, here's like with cryptocurrencies, it was sort of the same thing, right? Like, I put a bit into crypto. I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a crack, and I did a little bit. And I saw some gains, I saw some losses. I didn't actually see a hell of a lot of it. I ended up balancing out, right? I was like, well, that was fun. Like, I just chucked like $100 in and just did it. And I'm like, cool. But then like, when it moved into NFTs, and the first thing that started happening when NFTs come out, and it was just like, it's stealing people's artwork and minting it, and people are making a huge profit off of it. You're just like, that's bad. And then you hear about how worse for the environment than they are than even crypto. You're like, that's bad. And then every celebrity's jumping on that train, and they're starting to talk about NFTs in the metaverse. And you're like, this is a scam. And now sort of where we're sitting at the moment, it's losing a lot of traction, a lot of popularity. And soon enough, like, people who are holding these NFTs are probably just going to lose money. If I'm dead honest, it's starting to get to a point where I feel like, especially when it comes to the metaverse and like how they're talking about how to incorporate it with NFTs, even Twitter incorporated NFTs into the platform somehow, and you're like, why?
Yeah, that was a sort of a cringe moment when I got that notification from Twitter. I'm like, oh god, here we go. And I haven't seen anybody actually use it. I haven't seen is it hexagon or something that instead of a circle?
Hexagon. Yeah, I've seen it.
I haven't seen anybody actually use that yet.
I've seen it. And like, here's the thing: is like, I'll reply to these people because they're like talking like NFTs are the future because you don't understand how the blockchain works. So I'm like, I don't really need to understand how the blockchain works. I just need to know that it's not currency. It's not currency in the same way that money is currency. Anyway, you talk to them about these things. You talk about like how this can potentially be used as a scam and rug pull and all that stuff. And you get to a point where like you'll start talking about NFTs. So even if you're shitting on NFTs, there's just bots jumping on your tweets. Like liking and sharing your posts, even though you're shitting on NFTs, because they're just trying to promote NFTs consistently to push the MO. And like, it'll be same. Well, no, it's not.
No. I was just thinking, like, if I was like posting an episode of the House of Mario on Twitter, I just go #NFT and bam, get it retweeted. And a bunch of people who are just like, yeah, so I like making money. They can listen to this. It's just what they need.
It's just and like I only see the same thing happening with the metaverse stuff as well. And like, when they started concepting that, I don't think they understood exactly what they were creating, because essentially what they're trying to create is an MMORPG.
Yeah, where you put on an Oculus and like hello, and you can touch people, and you can sort of use that social.
They've created VR
Facebook.
chat. They've created VR chat. It's a product that already exists.
Yeah, like
it's not even something that doesn't exist.
Like they've got this big grand idea for it, but I think it's like no one's excited for it. It's just Facebook saying, "Hey, look, this is what we're going to do. You're going to be involved in it, and suck shit." But
it's so annoying. It's just a product that already exists. Reggie's right. They have no fucking idea what they're doing at all. It's just like Facebook. If you took your head out of your ass for 1 second, you Googled virtual reality chat rooms. They've been around since early 2000s with platforms like IMVU or Habbo Hotel.
Or Habbo Hotel.
Or Habbo Hotel. Virtual chat rooms, like where you might not be doing it in virtual reality, but it's a virtual chat room where you like make an avatar, you sit in a room, I don't know, if you get into the more raunchy ones, maybe you're like fucking like making out with each other or some bullshit, and you're like, yes, that's very nice. They exist. They've existed a long time, and that's essentially what it's trying to do in a metaverse. I remember seeing a TikTok that's just like, I work in a metaverse subway and I earn 0.00014 ETH per hour in a fucking metaverse subway. I'm like,
sounds awesome.
What?
Man. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, he like comes home from like his job and then spends 8 hours in a virtual subway. Cool.
Yeah. Nah.
Who the fuck is paying that?
It sounds like me coming home and firing up Farming Simulator. But like, all right, I'm planting the crops, I'm managing the sheep.
Yeah.
So no.
Oh man, Farming Simulator time.
Beautiful.
But yeah. No, he's right. He's 100% right. They have no fucking idea what they're doing. Oh my god.
Thanks, Reggie.
They couldn't even get the name thing right. They're like, we are now Meta, and then Meta PCs are like, bro, we already own the name Meta. And then they're like, oh, we'll buy it for you for $15,000, and they're like, no.
I heard Mettadox in our Discord actually sued them as well.
Yep. Mettadox.
Yeah, Mettadoxed him. All right, so moving on to another article, and this is a nice satirical article. It's by The Hard Drive, but why I'm going to read this is because a lot of people fell for it. And so really funny. So the title is Nintendo announces all still functioning Wiis will self-destruct in 2023. And just before I read it, I think just like, Nintendo's situation with how they treat their systems after, they're pretty much no good to them. With all the news from the Wii U and the 3DS eShops not being able to purchase games pretty much after April, is why people like actually believe this. They're actually going to set their Nintendo Wiis on fire. But anyway, so here we go. The article reads, Nintendo has caused controversy by announcing that any Nintendo Wii that is still in working order will incinerate upon an upcoming date next year. Quote, due to changing standards in the gaming industry and better hardware being available, we think it's best if every single Wii that is still in perfect working order just bursts into flames one day next year. End quote. Said Doug Bowser, president of Nintendo of America. Just melting and shooting parts all over the room. Once we get this new Switch sports game out, we really don't want anyone enjoying the past version of it. I'm sure you understand.
Oh, God.
The announcement was met with the predictable reception of cynicism that comes to greet most Nintendo news as of late. Quote, why doesn't this surprise me? Said Mr. Jordan Hall, a concerned Nintendo fan. Between suing fans that make games, stopping Melee tournaments from happening, and shutting down the 3DS and Wii U stores, Nintendo literally seems like they're doing everything it can to alienate every fan of theirs. If they hadn't made 7 or 10 of my favorite games, I'd probably stop supporting them. Those absolute bastards. End quote. In addition to the traditional gaming demographics, the Nintendo's Wii motion controls and recreations of popular sports like bowling and golf made it popular among elderly gamers, a factor many are considering Nintendo to take into consideration before they voluntarily explode any of the 100 million units that are still operating. Quote, Nintendo doesn't care what we think. Again, never have, never will. They know what they're doing. They know how many nursing homes still have Wii's installed in their rec rooms. Oh, look at that. If they do what they're threatening to do, their signature bright red logo will no longer remind me of Mario's hat, and instead of the blood of my grandparents, it will be on their hands. I wish they would be a normal company just one more time. As of press time, Nintendo revealed that they were hard at work figuring out how they were going to get you to buy Mario Bros. 3 for a 6th time. So, look, that is why you actually like read articles and not just headlines. For anybody that did actually believe that and isn't aware of the hard drive sort of funny history, just like with making up bullshit and even at times like annoying IGN employees and stuff with their stories. It's really funny. But yeah, what do you reckon about Nintendo Wii is just exploding? This is a really weird decision by Nintendo.
It's fucking terrible, man. I can't believe it. I can't believe that the Wii that's been sitting in my cupboard is going to explode once I plug it in.
Yeah, it's just a message to anyone out there. Don't plug in your Wii anymore. It might just blow up your house, and make sure you got fire insurance on your house, especially if you got Nintendo Wii in there. And just imagine what they're going to do to the Wii U, because Nintendo actually liked the Wii. So the Wii U, they're going to like literally, start an ice age in your house with it. I don't know. Don't know what the next step is with the Wii U. Just blow up the neighborhood potentially.
Yeah, atomic bombs.
Yeah.
I would love to do like a whole episode that's just like hard drive or parody articles.
Yeah, I would too. That'd be funny.
I've got one here for you. Yeah. I'm not even going to read the title. Because it sounds funny if you're just going with the story. Rustboro City, rising star Pokemon trainer and recent Hoenn champion Ashton Mitchum, 12, has been put on indefinite suspension for trying to register a Pikachu named Fucker in the League's Hall of Fame. Come on, it's seriously not a big deal. I thought it was funny, said Mitchum when he questioned his motives for the sickening act. I know like 3 other guys at my school who called their Pokemon like way, way worse stuff. My friend Gary called his Blastoise butt toys, like stuff you put in your ass. That's way more grosser. Why are they picking on me? While Mitchum seemed to be deflecting and downplaying his critics, Pokemon League officials made their disappointment abundantly clear. This is behavior we would expect from some other trainers, but not our Ashton, said current Elite Four member and league chairman Drake. He's a talented and bright young man, but this sort of behavior has to be nipped in the bud. Pokemon are not meant to be named such obscenities. They are our companions and deserve the dignity and respect that comes with being categorized by their species in all caps, followed by an identifying mark of their gender. Anything else is affront to everything we stand for. Mitchum's suspension may be escalated to a permanent ban after investigation into his personal PC, which has already been found to contain Pokemon named Motherfucker, Cocksucker, Poop Shit Ass, and Jeremy. When approached for comment about these latest revelations, Mitchum could be heard through tears muttering, "Just please don't tell my mum, man."
Wow, that's fantastic. I do remember seeing that one come through on my Twitter feed, but yeah, that's great. Yeah. That's great.
Fantastic. Yeah, these articles are a lot of fun, and I'll find myself scrolling them from time to time. Just to see what ridiculousness they come up with. And like some titles here, it's like creepypasta about haunted video game. It's just someone playing Sonic Forces. Health conscious Dracula now stocking walls with fruit and vegetables as opposed to chickens. Yakuza boss would feel more comfortable discussing this shirtless on rooftop. This is just some funny shit, man. Like a lot of it's really good. We should do that one time.
What's this one? Game Freak under time crunch after not releasing a new Pokemon game for 1 whole month.
Oh god.
Damn it, Game Freak. Look, it's been like a month since I played Legends Arceus. Where's the next one? It's been a month.
Yeah, come on, man.
It's been a month already. I've got to wait a whole other 8 months for another one. Ridiculous.
So mad.
Oh, ridiculous. But yeah, awesome stuff. Go and check out the hard drive. They're a good follow on Twitter for anyone that's looking for a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get through this stuff quick. This is just some quick fire. So in the recent PlayStation State of Play, a brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Color collection is coming to Nintendo Switch. Includes 13 basically old games from the NES, the arcade, etc., etc. I'm actually looking forward to this. I might pick it up. I'm looking forward to actually the new Brawler coming out as well. So I might be picking that up potentially. Depends on price. Also, Super Nintendo World is opening in Universal Studios Hollywood next year. So we got options, Bryce. If we want to go to a Nintendo World, we got options to go to America or Japan. I still vote Japan.
Yeah. I want to see like all that old culture for gaming.
Yeah. But we got options. We might end up in the States through like a vortex. So, oh, look, we're in the States. We can go to Nintendo World, though.
We get invited to go to PAX East or some bullshit.
Get invited. They want us. Like, oh, boys, we need
the House of Mario.
We need you. We need you, boys, here in the States.
We need the house in the States.
We need the housey boys.
They heard we were talking about going to Denmark, and they got very offended. And they're like, "We'll show you how it's done in America, boys."
Yeah, well, fucking help us in the charts in the States, and maybe we'll talk. But Denmark, they're good to us. They're good to us. That's right. At the House of Mario.
That's right, they are.
Next up, the Nintendo Switch online app receives an overhaul. So it's now at 2.0.0. Very exciting. Adds like a friends list, a couple of things to the app. For a 2.0 update, this is something. This is pretty embarrassing, but if you use the app for voice chat and all that, good stuff. There it is. You've got you. Another thing I want to highlight is actually Caseify is partnering with Pokemon again. Caseify is basically like accessories for your smartphone, so you can get like cases for AirPods and Apple Watch bands and stuff. Depends on what model of phone you have. Go and check it out. But I really like them. I've personally got Caseify cases on my phone, and I've dropped it a lot, and it's not even a scuff on it. Really like them, and these Pokemon sort of collaborations they do, they look awesome. And they've done a couple of them now, and this one is very much like pixel based. So you get like when you go to your party and you see like the little tiny sprites of your Pokemon, that's basically like littered all over these phone cases. There's Charizard, Pikachu, Lucario, the Eevee evolutions. There's heaps to choose from. I've already got like Pokemon phone cases from Caseify. So I might pick up like a Pikachu Apple Watch band or something. I think it looks kind of cool. Looks nice. But I just want to highlight it for anyone who likes decking out their fashion or their phone with Pokemon stuff, because it's pretty easy to miss if you're not aware. And also, don't forget, if you want to catch Shaman in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, you've got to, basically the end of this month, the 27th of March, to claim Oak's letter to go and catch Shaman. And this annoys me. I don't know why this is so limited. Like, why?
No. Just put it in the game.
But it is. It is limited. So go and get it. I haven't got it yet, so that's why I put in the PSA.
Here's the thing, though, is like, provided that Legends Arceus is going to have home compatibility, it's not like you probably got a Shaman already. Let's be real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No.
You might want another one. You can shiny hunt this one though, so that's potentially something if you do want a shiny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can shiny hunt it. Then you could probably bring it into Legends Arceus once the home compatibility is there. So, yeah, I recommend getting it. Why not? If you've got the game and you've got access to.
Does it just claim an item?
Yeah, you just get Oak's letter. Then you go to like the portion of the game and you meet Professor Oak, and you go out and catch it.
So you just get Oak's letter, and then you've got Oak's letter forever?
Yes.
Good. Okay, that's more positive. I will go grab Oak's letter so I can shiny hunt Shaman.
because I know it's easy to forget because everyone's forgotten about Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. But if you do want access to these limited events, get on them. Get on 'em. All right, that's the end of the news, Bryce. We got through it. We had some serious conversation in there, and we talked about Lego and a bunch of other random shit from Hard Drive, but we got there.
We did.
Yeah. So we're going to go into the Red Coin releases, but after that, are we going to do a Reggie's Rec Room? Do we want to rank the years of Nintendo Switch from like first party releases? Is that something you want to do? Are you happy to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
I reckon that sounds good.
Cool. Wrong button. What's that? No, that was the right button. No, that was no.
No, that was the news button, my friend.
That was the news button. Oh, I'm getting confused. I'm getting old, Bryce. Here we go. All right, so I've pressed the right button, and here we go. We're going into Chocobo GP Lite. We've already talked about this game a lot, but if you want to get the full bundle, it's $70 on the eShop, so it's not quite the $80 we mentioned before, but go and get it if that stokes your engines and you want to race as a Chocobo on some roller skates. But basically, it's all right. It's good. Go and get the free version, though. The Lite version is the one you want to go and check out. Next up is a game that looks interesting. I haven't played it, but it's called Young Souls. You can get it for $33.75 on the Australian eShop. And the little write-up here says, as orphans, Jen and Tristan's path brought to them to a mysterious scientist who took them in and cared for them as his own children. But one day, he disappeared under very odd circumstances. While searching desperately for him, the duo found a hidden cellar in the Moon Gate portal, transporting them to a dangerous parallel world where goblins thrive. Your adventure begins as you fight to bridge these two very different worlds. Play a dynamic and deep side-scrolling RPG beat-em-up as Jen and Tristan, solo or in a co-op as you explore 4 unique biomes of the goblins, twisted world, and the stylish world of the humans. You can customize your combat gear, unlock unexpected story paths as you fight your way through dozens of epic dungeons, hordes, or enemies, and over 20 fearsome bosses in the goblin realm. Young Souls combines the classic beat-em-up and story-rich role-playing genres through a beautifully crafted world and in a story crafted with stunning art direction. And that's definitely the aspect of the game that caught my eye at the start. This looks like a fantastic sort of just artwork and sort of finding out that it's an RPG blended with beat-em-up mechanics. That sounds like a lot of fun, so it's definitely something I want to check out. It would have been something I would have clicked on for a demo. No demo at the time of recording this though, but definitely check it out. If it's something you definitely want to go and get, it is on sale for 10% off at the moment. So go and get it. You've got the screenshots there, Bryce. What do you reckon of this game? Oh.
I can't hear you.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Okay, so, yeah, I can. Whenever you have anything that's consistently playing, sometimes it will just cut out because you're not talking loud enough.
Right. All right. Well, we'll skip that game then. We'll go to the next one. Oh, sorry about having the music there for you, Bryce. So next one is The Cruel King and the Great Hero. You can get it for $45 on the Australian eShop. And this is the story of how one day you will defeat me. Join an intrepid girl on her many adventures as she strives to become a hero with the help of her mighty dragon protector. Along the way, meet new friends, collect items, and help folks from all walks of life discover a heartwarming tale of kindness, compassion, and family in this gorgeous, hand-drawn world. And I don't know, that doesn't really explain a whole lot of what the game actually is, but the genre is a RPG. So just going through the screenshots, yeah. It's an RPG. It's a turn-based RPG, which I guess would have been nice to have in the description there, but that's all it gave us. Usually we get a bunch of dot points and stuff to rattle through, but it's just a really kind of beautiful-looking RPG, turn-based RPG coming across kind of cute enemies that you might not want to hurt. They looked a bit too friendly, but definitely a game that's going on my wish list. Basically, new games on Switch at the moment, I've got such a backlog where I'm like, that looks interesting. It's in the wish list. I might pick it up later. There's only a couple of games that I've got from indie developers. One being Blossom Tales 2, which I'll be like, yes, day one, be diving into. But a lot of these other games, yeah, they'll be on the back burner for a little bit. But there's always so much to play on Switch, which is a good thing. But do you have the screenshot of this one up?
I do. That I do. Let's see. Looks like a very nice little artistic RPG. Will I give it a go though? $45 is quite the asking price, isn't it?
It is for something like you're not exactly sure of what it is. Like you don't know if you're gonna like it or not. That's the thing with like a lot of these games. Like, oh, that looks cool, but to take the plunge of $45, that's quite an investment to be like, I might like it. I should like it.
It's kind of like I Am Setsuna back in the day. Like that game is like pretty brilliant, like by most standards. It came out. It's like one of the first games that came out on the eShop.
Yeah,
but really it was also really expensive, and it's just like, whoa. Okay, like where am I going from here? I've had I Am Setsuna on my Switch for so long, but I haven't finished it.
You bought it too, did you?
Yeah, I bought it in like the 4th week with the Switch.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, but the asking price was pretty big. It was huge. Yeah.
Yeah. That looks pretty cool. Definitely in the wish list. I've got there's always a big sale on the Switch. There's always at least 800 plus games, and each week I seem to be going through it to see what's going on. At the moment, I've got in my wish list a game that's on sale for another 8 days called Frigment. It's on sale for 90% off. The sequel was actually in a sort of an indie world earlier this year or late last year, but there's a sequel coming out. So I'm actually kind of keen to dive into this. It's only $2.90, so jumping into this, it's kind of like a puzzle game / hack and slash in some ways, just by looking at it. Looks interesting. I also added a game called Dusk Diver to my wish list as well. I missed the sale on it. It was on sale for like $17 from $52, but it's like an anime, just beat 'em up, but it kind of takes, I guess, presentation sort of cues from Persona. Obviously not as stylish, but it kind of looks similar, just on a budget. But yeah, I missed the sale on that one. I'll have to wait for it to come around again. But yeah, there's always something on Switch. There's always something on it that's we definitely don't have the argument where it's like, oh, there's no games on Wii U. We've definitely got games on Switch. We've got too many, even though we don't have the biggest games in the industry, being like Call of Duty and all that. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's always something going on, and that's what usually worth your dime too.
Yeah. All right, let's go into Reggie's Rec Room and sort of celebrate the 5th year of Switch and rank the years, because there's been some good years and there's been some also pretty good years. It's been a pretty good so far for the most part.
Good time overall. Yeah.
Hi, Nintendo fans. Reggie here. Thank you for your never-ending support, for giving me a mushroom kingdom full of incredible memories that I will never forget. Ever.
All right, Bryce, so we're doing this on the internet. Can you hear me?
You're dipping in and out. I love it.
All right. So can you hear me now? Ooh.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Fantastic. So 5 years of the Switch. It's been an absolutely fantastic console to sort of cover. It's been a lot of fun to play and sort of monitor each week as we go through the releases and everything. Even brand new revisions, the Switch Lite, the OLED, have all been sort of fun additions to the library. But the main thing is the games, and we're going to go through each year what first-party Nintendo games come out. Within these lists as well, there will be like Nintendo published games, like for example, like Daemon X Machina, that was initially published by Nintendo on Switch, and like stuff from Platinum Games, second-party games and stuff as well, which we will be including. But if there's like a ripper indie year or something like that, we won't be including them because Jesus Christ, how can we keep track of that?
A lot of ripper indies here.
Yeah. So I'll go through 2017 and then we'll discuss it and et cetera, et cetera. We'll move on through the years into 2021. Can't talk about this year yet, but I think this year is going to be near the top by the time it's ended, if it all works out and we get Zelda. But 2017, so we saw The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 1-2 Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, ARMS, Splatoon 2, Mario plus Rabbids, Kingdom Battle, Pokken Tournament DX, Fire Emblem Warriors, Super Mario Odyssey, Snipperclips, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yeah, that's it. So that was the first year of the Switch, and obviously the year the actual hardware launched as well. So just the hype behind it just really emphasized all of these games more than probably any other year that there was like big releases. But this is probably like my favorite year in gaming, just in general. Like Nintendo has come out and firing on all cylinders, and PlayStation were as well. Like obviously there was Horizon, but like there was a game on PlayStation Vita which I loved very much, and it was very unlikely it was going to get a sequel, and that turned out to be Gravity Rush 2. I was just ecstatic that that game came out. So just like on all fronts, it was just really, really awesome to be in the gaming space. But what do you reckon? 2017, it'd be near the top. Be near the top.
So, near the top, or is the top?
It is.
That's probably the bigger question.
Well, we're sitting at the very first option. So it's at the top at the moment. 2017, bam, at the very top. And like this is a year that they're able to sort of hold games back from the Wii U. We saw basically nothing in 2016, and really not much for the rest of the Wii U's life either. So a lot of these titles were able to be like held pretty much for just a massive launch year.
Here's the thing: is like when you consider it, I think it is the top, and the reason I think it is the top is because one, it has the highest selling Switch title on the platform. Right there.
Yeah, Mario Kart.
Right. But then on top of that, you also had the reinvention of Zelda, which was critical acclaim, highly successful, considered IGN's #1 game. That's there.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the next 3D Mario entry, Odyssey. Fantastic, fantastic Mario game. Easily considered one of the best games, if not coming up pretty close on rival to Super Mario 64, which is everybody's like, cheese. They're like, oh yes, this beautiful, beautiful piece of provolone right there. And you got Splatoon in the hands of more audiences, a larger audience rather. Now, like Splatoon 1 obviously had a very small base to go to. It was only 12 million odd consoles sold, but the Switch is like, Splatoon 2 with the Switch, there's obviously a lot more of a base now, so people can sort of get into that series. Fire Emblem Warriors is sort of whatever, and then you sort of, it's just like off of that first half of the year alone, like it broke Nintendo's bad streak, and that was only half the year.
Yeah, definitely. And just like titles like ARMS, I know that like, a lot of people have forgotten about it now, but that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun to play. I know Splatoon 2 kind of killed it as far as like online multiplayer goes, but they introduced a sort of brand new concept, a brand new IP, brand new characters, awesome music, sort of a lobby system that should be copied by every single game. Just like how quickly it gets you into a match, and how you can sort of start up a party and just always be playing, not waiting like you do in the sort of that similar mode in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So it's just really, really well done. I really appreciate ARMS. I'd like to see it come back eventually, but I don't know if we will. And Snipperclips as well. Snipperclips was an awesome sort of launch title that Nintendo published. And it was just like a lot of fun to, sit down and take the Joy-Cons off and just work out a puzzle. And it was very different to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, obviously, that you sit down and that is your system, you're playing it. But that was the sort of title that allowed you to share the love of, taking off a Joy-Con and sharing it with someone that, 1-2 Switch also did, which I appreciate 1-2 Switch. I think it was way too much. I think it should have been a pack-in. I don't think that's a unique thought. I think everybody thinks that. And it is a shame because I think a lot more people should have experienced it, because it really showed the magic that the Switch can potentially reach. Not because of its graphics or its online capability or whatever it packs at launch, but for just how it opens up people's imagination and that like you can make your kitchen into a runway. You can make your lounge room into like an arena where you're having a sword fight, and it just made for a really fun party game. And I just really wish it wasn't $80 because if it was like a $10 game now, I would recommend it. I would say if you can get it for $10, like pick it up. It's a lot of fun. You'll have a lot of fun with it, and it will sort of utilize everything the Switch does, and you'll get the feel of the HD rumble for the only time in the whole time you use your Switch. Because I never felt it after that marble game where you got to like guess how many marbles are in your Joy-Con. You're like, oh, I think there's 10. Then that's the feature. That's why you pay $120 for these controllers.
Yeah. It's a HD rumble.
Yeah, and obviously for you, Bryce, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, like massive one that came out at the very end in December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
big one.
Beautiful game. One of the most played titles on my Switch now. Yeah. In fact, it always has been. Yeah, 180 hours, I think.
Big one.
Yeah. Big boy.
So next up is 2018. We got Kirby Star Allies, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, Nintendo Labo Toy-Con 1 Variety Kit, Nintendo Labo Toy-Con 2 Robot Kit, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, we got the funky mode, Sushi Striker, The Way of Shusedo, Mario Tennis Aces, Octopath Traveler, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Go Vacation, which that's a Bandai Namco game, but I think that was published by Nintendo for some reason. Then we got another Labo kit, the vehicle kit. We got Xenoblade Chronicles Torna, The Golden Country, Super Mario Party, The World Ends With You, which was Square Enix game, but published by Nintendo on Switch. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And this is a big year as well, but for me, it's a weaker year until personally the very end, where like, I got Pokemon on the Switch for the very first time, and Super Smash Bros., which, holy shit, that brought us through the whole year. Every little tiny morsel of information, whether it's characters, modes, even just a screenshot of something different, we were just all about it. So that was a big year for us, just as podcasters, as fans of just Smash Brothers fans. That's definitely the highlight of this year. Otherwise, it is very much getting very good Wii U games. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, awesome to get that over. Captain Toad, which I talked about earlier, awesome. Octopath Traveler, that was very nice to get as an exclusive. It's weird how that is published by Nintendo, same as Triangle Strategy last week, but yeah, it's interesting that like that game didn't end up coming to PlayStation but went to Xbox. That was always a weird thing. But Super Mario Party, like that was pretty much a disappointment. It was fun for a little bit for us, but yeah, don't know. I think this year it's definitely under 2017 just by proxy. Obviously, we're only up to the second year, so we'll put it there. But then we'll work out, basically, it's if Smash Brothers can hold it above other years. And there are some years that Smash Brothers alone will hold it above, personally for me.
Yeah.
But we've got to try and agree on it a little bit.
Yep, true.
All right. So we go into 2019, and this was the last year of non-COVID. We didn't know it at the time, but here we go. It was a good year. So we had New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Yoshi's Crafted World, another Nintendo Labo kit, the VR kit, Super Mario Maker 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, The Black Order, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Tetris 99, Astral Chain, Daemon X Machina, The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. We got Dragon Quest 11. Ring Fit Adventure, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Pokemon Sword and Shield, and Brain Training for Nintendo Switch.
It's a pretty good year.
Yeah, it is a good year. It is a good year. Look, so this year I was really excited for Pokemon. Obviously, there was a lot of bullshit going on just within the fan base, and even us questioning, like, is this going to turn out okay? So Pokemon was like a bit of a weird thing. Looking forward to it, but
even stuff like Fire Emblem.
Yeah, Fire Emblem, Astral Chain.
And Astral Chain, both were huge.
Yeah, Yoshi's Crafted World, which was fun.
It's fun, yeah, but it's not carrying the system. But Astral Chain and Fire Emblem could. Astral Chain's a phenomenal title. I still haven't fucking finished it. I really need to. But it's a phenomenal title. It's a hell of a lot of fun, and Fire Emblem is like some of the best it's ever been in Three Houses.
Yeah, definitely. And like Luigi's Mansion 3, like,
oh,
just, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Like the power of next level games. That is what got Nintendo to buy next level games, was that game.
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, I think this year does go above 2018.
I think so too.
Yeah, okay.
Even though Smash is like, my baby.
My baby boy.
It can't carry that. Like that is mad. Like I know that Smash will always be eternal for any console it sort of lands on. There's always going to be hype for it, and like it's going to retain that sort of like hype and base all the way up until the end of the console's life. But like new experience with Astral Chain being as good as it was, and then you've got Fire Emblem Three Houses like proving they could push the formula even further for Fire Emblem to make it even more of an interactive experience, and then Luigi's Mansion 3 being one of the most gorgeous games on the platform. My God, yeah, no, it's big moves in this year.
And like, yeah, even Ring Fit Adventure being a massive surprise. No one would have thought it would have been in the top 10 for like this long as far as sales go. And just, yeah, another shout out to Pokemon Sword and Shield. I think it turned out to be a fun game which we enjoyed for a long time. So we definitely got our money's worth out of it. And I really did enjoy the Galar region for like all of its faults and that. I thought it was a fun game. But yeah, so that's at number 2. So we're going 2017, 2019, 2018 at the moment. So let's move on to 2020. So we start off the year with Tokyo Mirage Sessions, #FE Encore, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Games, Paper Mario The Origami King, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Horror Warriors Age of Calamity, Fitness Boxing 2 Rhythm and Exercise. Oh no, sorry, that's good. And that's the end. That's 2020. All right, so this was obviously this was a hard year for everyone and anyone, and game publishers and developers were a part of that. There was no escaping it. So we saw a lot of delays sort of this year and going into 2022. But looking at the big hitters here, so we got a new sort of Wii U re-release with Tokyo Mirage Sessions. We got a remake of a Mystery Dungeon game on Nintendo DS. We got the brand new Animal Crossing game, which just sort of dragged Nintendo throughout the year. Another remaster of a Wii game, Xenoblade Chronicles. And Clubhouse Games, that was a lot of fun. That was it, but it wasn't like mind-blowing. It was just like, it's good to have like cards and checkers on your Switch.
Yeah.
Super Mario 3D All-Stars, it was a pretty lackluster collection of games, but I guess it was at least cool enough to get Sunshine and Mario Galaxy on your Switch. So that's something.
That is like the most important thing though, right? Is that I know that Super Mario 64 really got shafted, and I know that things aren't great with the 2 ports of Sunshine and Galaxy, but they're there, right?
It's something, yeah.
Here's the thing is like I said that about Xbox Game Pass a few weeks ago, like and yeah, I had to send off another Xbox, so I'm kind of pissed off at Microsoft at the moment. But to the credit of like backwards compatibility, even when emulation does fail and it goes wrong, it almost, yes, they need to fix it, but the fact that it's even there is a positive, right? And it's sort of the similar thing with All Stars Collection. I know Mario 64 come to Nintendo Switch Online, and that version of the game is technically better. But like to have Sunshine and Galaxy on the platform at all, I think is very good. As much as that collection is hated, I can't dismiss that. I think it's a very positive thing.
Yeah, it'll be good if it was just still out.
Well, that's the thing. Is like it's not hard to find on shelves still. You just have to find it on the shelf, right? Like a lot of people scalped them. I bought a digital copy and a physical copy. I did too. The physical copy. Yep. Well, the physical copy I'll leave in shrink wrap, right? Because it is. It's a limited run product, and eventually, like one day, it's going to be one of those things where it's just like, remember this and how everybody hated it. Yeah, what a time to be alive. But like, I bought that physical collection because I'm like, put it up in my shelf. I kind of want it. I think it's hard to discount that, especially given the way that I've said about Game Pass and how it's good that like stuff like Fable is easily playable, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Even with its fault, it's something. But yeah, it is a weird year. Like there's a lot of good in it. There's also a lot of whatever.
It's very much sort of dragged along by Animal Crossing. That's by far the biggest release, and a lot of other stuff is like remasters, re-releases. It's cool to see Pikmin on the platform with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. It was pretty much just like Horror Warriors Age of Calamity at the end, which was not really like necessarily my cup of tea.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's more Zelda lore, but maybe not in the most positive way. But the other thing is as well is like Xenoblade. It was a positive year for Xenoblade, not just because we got the definitive edition, but because it made it congruent with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in art style, so that now that we know that all three games are on the platform, they're all going to sync up and match and be perfect. Sort of like a perfect force, and they're all going to be on one system. That's really good. If they ended a trilogy there and start, or maybe do like X2, or move on to a new project, which seems to be the way they're sort of heading. I think Definitive Edition is a fucking amazing addition to the Switch.
Yeah, no, I agree too. Like I've only just started recently playing it, and I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, it's good.
So yeah, like looking at this, so we've got Animal Crossing, and we've got a lot of games here I like. Clubhouse Games had a lot of fun with, and even like Mystery Dungeon as well. Look, but I'd still probably put it at the bottom at 4th at the moment. So let's put in that 2020 number 4. So that leaves us for the last year, which was 2021. Let's have a look here. So we got Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Bravely Default 2, new Pokemon Snap, Famicom Detective Club The Missing Heir, Famicom Detective Club The Girl Who Stands Behind, Miitopia. I'll include this one anyway. I don't know if this is going to sell you on this year, Bryce, but DC Superhero Girls Teen Power, Game Builder Garage, Mario Golf Super Rush, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, WarioWare Get It Together, Metroid Dread, Mario Party Superstars, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain. And that's what we got last year. So what do you reckon of this year? This is actually like a pretty solid year. I don't have like there isn't a game where I'm like, oh my God, I loved it that year. It's very much just like, oh, this is like a bunch of stuff which I'm really enjoying. I know like Metroid Dread, that was a massive game for Metroid fans. I've never been a massive Metroid fan necessarily, but I enjoyed Metroid Dread. Mario Party Superstars, it was nice to see Mario Party actually improve a little bit, and we got like online capability and that. Obviously with the first one we got the update too, but from launch as well.
Yeah.
We got Skyward Sword. Mario Golf was the most underwhelming game of the whole year. It had like a lot of potential, but it wasn't great. It didn't have much reason to return to it afterwards, which was a bit of a shame. Don't know how you feel about that, but
yeah, pretty bad.
What was really confusing is like Miitopia got re-released, and it was ported by Grezzo. And like, I just wish, I hope Grezzo is also working on something else from 3DS or whatever, if they want to be porting from that era of Nintendo. Like, I always thought like, Grezzo, imagine if they
Zelda remakes.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, that, or just like, Kid Icarus Uprising from Grezzo or something. That, could you imagine that? God. But we've got Miitopia. But I think Miitopia also sort of fits a nice little niche on Switch where you can something to play with the kids, something very basic. So I guess it is a nice little thing to have on Switch. We've got plenty of a lot of like Zelda games and options for that at the moment, so it's not so bad a thing. But where are you falling on this? Like, it's sort of the year that all Nintendo's handheld franchises got limelight. Like WarioWare started on Game Boy Advance. We've got Metroid, which all the 2D games are like pretty prominent on Game Boy Advance. Miitopia, 3DS game. New Pokemon Snap, I guess you could count as a console game, and we've got 3D World, which was a Wii U game. Bowser's Fury, the add-on, was really awesome. I think that was fantastic. Yeah. So that was cool. So let's see where it fits in.
WarioWare Get It Together is probably my third favorite WarioWare. Out of all of them, I've played all of them. I think it's probably sitting on third. It's close to touched, but not quite there. And then Smooth Moves is the top. It's always going to be the top. Mm-hmm. So still really solid, and I'm glad we got WarioWare right. And we will get that opportunity to play on the couch one day. Metroid Dread is one of my favorite games on the console.
Oh, you enjoyed it that much?
Yeah, I reckon I did. Look, here's the thing: is I'm not a huge 2D Metroid guy. They're like going back and playing a Metroid. Like, yeah, there's definitely some charm to it and stuff like that as well. But I feel like the clunkiness sometimes got in the way of me enjoying it. And like I say clunkiness in like places like the aiming where you've only got 8 total positions you can aim. It's not full 360 degree movement aiming or anything like that. And sometimes it can be a little bit annoying, and I understand that like Metroid is very much a game of what you make it. Because Dread is very much the same as well. It's the same thing. It is what you make it, and you can go fast if you really want to. You can go slow, or such and so. But Metroid Dread is one of the cleanest 2D platformers I've ever played.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I really loved it as well. Just like it feels nice to play. It looks pretty nice, especially in handheld mode. So like there's a lot going for it, and especially like a team for the first time handling the series. It came out really well. But it
was extremely good.
Where do you reckon 2021 fits in? So we've got 2017 at the start. Then we go 2019, 2018, and 2020. So for me, it's definitely above 2020. Is it above 2018 with Super Smash Brothers and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee? What else was that year? It's hard. Is it above there? So
I don't think it is, because Smash Brothers is still carrying like quite a fair bit there. I love again. I love Metroid Dread, and I think it's one of the best games on the console for sure. But that was most of that year. WarioWare was huge in hype, and we were both very hyped for it. But it didn't do that much in sales dent. And if I'm going to recommend a WarioWare game, it's going to be Smooth Moves before it is this. So even though I would probably recommend Metroid Dread to anybody looking to getting into Metroid because of how clean of a game it is, it's not in the same level that I would recommend Smash Brothers Ultimate for just being a complete experience.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, we'll put it at number 4, just under 2018.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we agree with that. So there you go. That's our rankings for all the years of Nintendo Switch first-party releases. So at number 1, we got the launch year 2017. Cannot beat Breath of the Wild, the initial launch of the Switch. Splatoon 2, just like so many games out that year. Just really my favorite video game year of all time. Then we got 2019. Then we got 2018, 2021, and 2020. So there we go. That's the official House of Mario list. If anyone else would like to share personally what they feel is the best year of Nintendo Switch first party releases, definitely let us know at the House of Mario on Twitter or join our Discord community. There's a link in the show notes. But just before we go, Bryce, let's have a look at what we've got for 2022. So we've got Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy that have already come out. But coming up, we've got Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Nintendo Switch Sports, Mario Strikers Battle League, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, Live Alive, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Splatoon 3, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and potentially Bayonetta 3, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, and probably not Metroid Prime 4. But just looking at that, we've got a contender. We do have a serious contender if Legend of Zelda sequel comes out. And if
Pokemon turns out really good. Yeah.
So like the biggest game will be Zelda. If that sort of ups the ante from the original game, which it probably should. Look, I've got the expectations that it's going to be very good and it will sort of define and just build upon what the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild put out there, just exploration and just mucking around in the world and just enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
And just like the big step for Pokemon, Bayonetta 3, hopefully Platinum Games actually has a hit with this one. They've had a lot of misses sort of recently, but hopefully Bayonetta 3 is a different story working with Nintendo. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 are going to be massive for us and a lot of people.
Huge. So huge.
Yeah. For us and a lot of people, Mario Strikers, that's going to be so much fun if that is made well, which I assume it will be by Next Level Games and not Camelot behind the other sports titles. And Wii Sports, Nintendo Switch Sports. Yeah. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. So a very promising year and don't know.
So much crap to buy.
Yeah, at the end of this year, we'll see if it beats 2017.
Damn it.
It's the year to beat, 2017. Yeah. Anyway, Bryce, that brings to the end of the show. Thank you very much for sitting here and talking with me and all that stuff. Very much appreciated. Anything else you want to say before we say au revoir?
Drink plenty of water. There you go.
Yeah, stay hydrated so you can wee lots in the toilet and not wee your pants. Because if you don't drink water, it comes out like Play-Doh and it gets all cluggy in your jocks.
Jesus Christ.
So everyone, thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario episode 217. If you enjoy the show, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Check out the other After Party Nintendo podcast, Encore at the House of Mario. You can check out my other interview podcast as well, A Drew Story. I've got an interesting one coming up this week where it's just by myself and I talk about my dogs.
Woof woof.
Woof woof. Yeah, it's very much a podcast. But I want to look back in years and have like a collection of stories and experiences from people all over the world, and I thought it'd be fun. And if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. And check out the Discord. Get in there. Invite in the show notes. But Bryce, the doors to the House of Mario, my friend, are closed. Are you going to say anything before they shut? Catch you later.
No.
You just listened to the House of Mario, a South Australian Nintendo podcast. Be sure to follow the boys on Twitter, leave an Apple Podcasts review, and join the Discord server to be a part of the community. A big thank you to these legends who support the show on Patreon at the producer level: Alex Harding, Sam Hay, and Deejaayy. If you would also like your name in the credits, head over to patreon.com/iDrewby and choose the tier that works for you. Until next time, we hope your day is 120 Power Star rated.